Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Today, we are going to have a look at how you can actually make usable some trash IFC models. I don't know about you, but early stage IFC models kind of suck. Very rarely it happens that is that you can really rely on these models. Most of the time, for various reasons, I'm not trying to pick up on anyone. Just how things works, right? And usually we cannot rely on that data, and we need to put quite some effort. Doesn't matter what you do, but you need to put a lot of effort into actually getting some data that you can rely on. And what I mean with data, I mean information takeoff, right? So today we have with us Simon, who is a BIM expert. He has been for a long time in the industry, and he's going to show us what a workflow that he found that works pretty well for this kind of situations that can make this investment of time much more profitable, and that can allow you to price more models, more projects at the end of the day. Hi, Simon. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Petru. Thanks for inviting me.
Nice to have you. So let's start with telling us a few words about yourself. Who are you? Where are you from? What do you do? And what you are going to show us today?
Yes. So actually, I'm an architect by training. And yeah, 10 years, more than 10 years ago, I did join the dark side of the moon or of the force and became a client rep and a design build project manager later on. And yeah, from this time, I know this challenge of having or of getting IFC models that are not usable for quantity takeoff or calculating costs. And that's where this whole idea of abstract BIM started.
All right, that sounds good. What are you going to show us today?
I'm going to show you a workflow I came up with based on minimal data requirements from what a client can give to the architect, or what most architects who work a little bit with BIM can fulfill. Then a workflow to maybe check the models, a workflow to repair the models if something is not working, and then some automation, the tool which we came up with, Abstract BIM, to get consistent models for quantity takeoff. So with consistent, I mean that the exterior wall is always called exterior wall, interior wall always called interior wall, so that you can really build up some stable calculations.
Okay, that makes sense. Before you share your screen and start showing us how this works, do you have any questions for anyone watching us? Like, by the way, before you ask a specific question, sorry for this, guys. If you want more people to see this, please click on that share or repost. It's called repost, that arrow button. Like, click on that. You don't need to put any comments or anything. Just click repost. It will just repost it in your feed, and maybe you have some friends who could find this useful. Thank you for that. And now, Simon, please ask your question or questions
Sure.
if you have any.
So actually, I'm interested about the audience. So do we have architects in the room? Do we have client reps in the room? Do we have quantity surveyors in the room? So maybe can you just type in the comments what's your role? And I think Pedro, you can have a look and report a little bit on the results.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Perfect. It's
Yeah,
always interesting to know who is joining.
definitely.
Yeah, before I share my screen, let's talk a little bit more about this challenge, because I think every role has some different challenges. So, yeah, based on my experience as an architect, I understand every architect who doesn't want to produce high quality BIM models, detailed BIM models in early design stages. Fullest sympathy for it. It's No, it's just pain in the ass to model consistently in early design stages, and you want to do some good design. That's what is important at the moment. You want to have quick foundations for decisions. Have a good plan, not necessarily a good BIM model with all the data. And I so whenever I do something, I always look at how many clicks do I need to achieve something. And when I look at Revit or Archicad Vectorworks, it doesn't matter. And to model really precisely, you need a lot of clicks. So this is the challenge for them. How can you do something that is usable with as few clicks as possible? Yeah, and on the other side, we have the quantity surveyors. We want to have very consistent models with one press of a button, get the quantities, so that they can really quickly calculate costs. So I think BIM model is always delivering the quantities, never the costs. We have to link it somehow. And I mean, when you don't model by yourself, you depend on what you get from the others. And yeah, I used to work as a design build project manager, and we did have very strict modeling requirements. But honestly, we never got the models in the quality we needed it. So very often it was just quicker to do a manual takeoff from the plan. So let's say square meters facade. I don't know. So yeah, you have on the one side the creative architect, on the other side this engineer who thinks in numbers and very structured. And yeah, it doesn't go together. And the third party we have in this is the client. And he actually wants to have a usable building, a building that fulfills the business plan, that he can sell, he can rent out, he can use for himself. So basically, the client is only interested in the space, the stuff that is between the walls. But we architects, we are used to draw walls. That's how we did it by hand, and that's how all the design tools, BIM tools work. And now I'm gonna share my screen because this is the first thing what I would like to raise awareness for is in early design stages, you can model much quicker when you forget about the walls. So I used to work for an architect who did it like this, and I think it's brilliant. And basically, the abstract BIM idea is based on this. So this architect, he did draw a shape for the building, and then he did draw shapes for the rooms. So here we have an office, and we have a second office with some non-structural wall, then maybe a structural wall, and so on and so on. We have some toilet at the end. And I think you get the idea. With very few clicks, you can create a floor plan and you can quickly change it. Okay, I don't want to have an office like this. I want to have it. And this same principle, you can, of course, apply to BIM as well. So if this is a IFC space element, for example, with office in the long name, we are already working with BIM without having to model a lot of different elements. And you can do this kind of workflow in Archicad, you can do it in Vectorworks, You could do it in Blender BIM, you can do it in SketchUp, and Revit I don't know so much about, but probably you can do it in Revit as well. So really this idea how to achieve a lot with very few clicks. And now let's switch to SketchUp to show
Just
the same.
One
Yeah, sure.
second, Simon. Let me just very briefly go over the answers we got. So we got some answers here. So we have Ole Mario Svensson, who is a consultant engineer, daylight, thermal comfort, and energy consumption. So not an architect, though work close with architects. And then Heinrich Bolt. Yes, I'm an architect working for a medical company to do Revit equipment and training people to deliver the installation drawings to clients. In most cases, those are building owners, hospitals, or medical planners. Then we have our guy in our team, Meno Mekes, architectural BIM engineer, Jan Smolek, BIM consultant in Czechia. And Edgar says something about write on the client want to use the space. You cannot sit on a blueprint. And Heinrich says something, use room border lines and place rooms.
In Revit.
yeah.
Perfect.
So yeah, but I'm very curious. Don't we have any quantity surveyor? That's very interesting. Like only architects and engineers. No quantity surveyor here, guys.
Yeah, we're busy dealing with the BIM models. We don't have time for LinkedIn at this time.
Yeah. And Ari, of course, let's not forget Ari. He's an engineer and he does calculations. So he likes the numbers. You cannot fool him.
Perfect.
Yeah, now you can go ahead, please. Sorry for hijacking you.
Same works, of course, in SketchUp. So I prepared some pre-defined components. You can go to components, write abstract BIM, and you will find them. And this is a space 1 by 1 by 3 meter. So you can very quickly scale it. You can add the name, it's an office, and build up your new model like this. Or what makes even more sense, when the architect is doing it, you just repair it. If one space is missing, you open the model in SketchUp and you add this one missing space. Same for windows. So some small components with a little bit of logic in the background, so that you can enter the real sizes of the window here. And doing this, next step is in SketchUp. Does everybody know SketchUp?
Yeah, that was also what I had on my mind. I'm very curious if anyone here is using SketchUp or Blender BIM for that matter. Can you please let us know? Just write a comment and tell us if you are using any of these tools. Because you can do exactly the same thing in Blender BIM, of course, which is native IFC. But SketchUp is also very user-friendly, and I'm sure at least architects, many of them, I'm sure they use or they used SketchUp before.
Yeah, I think the entrance barrier is lower with SketchUp.
Of course.
Blender BIM is much, much more powerful. And so when you're familiar with SketchUp, here, this outliner, that's the most useful tool in SketchUp. So with this, you can really build the structure of the whole building. And what you need to do is we need to have at least building stories. So I create one, and you see now these spaces are part of the building story. And for the fun of it, we do a second one.
So it allows you to use it even if you don't have an IFC project or a project.
Yeah, the project is created automatically.
Okay. But one thing regarding this abstract component that you showed here.
Yeah.
How does somebody who doesn't have experience with SketchUp find that? does that just automatically shows in SketchUp if you search in the work? How was it called? Workshop or work
component warehouse.
components? Okay, so you don't need to install or download anything.
No, you type in abstract BIM and you find these ones.
Okay.
So you have to know
I'm
about
not
it.
good.
Yeah.
I don't have any idea about I'm not good using SketchUp, so
So yeah, I came up just with some shape, and now I export it. And yeah, very important to know the IFC export, the native IFC export of SketchUp is really bad. So, but there's a great open source plugin on GitHub. It's called IFC Manager, and with this one you get perfect IFCs. So I just give some name, webinar IFC. And then I go to our web page. You can create your account for free and just try it out for yourself. When you log in, select the file,
sorry.
webinar, and then you have different output qualities. So I think we have a thermal simulation engineer here. For you, probably this IFC to GBXML could be interesting, or for either eyes. So really optimized for either eyes. But what we are looking at is the quantity takeoff. And when you just press the button, and now depending on the project size, it will take a few minutes. This one should be quite quick. Yes. And we get back a new IFC file and an Excel file. Now let's look at the IFC webinar. So I work quite a lot with BIM Collab Zoom to look at models because I really like the smart views.
Okay, so what are you like? What is your full workflow usually when you get in this case, you developed your model yourself, but when you get a model, like what is your specific workflow?
So when I know who is modeling, I just upload it. So when I know this guy will have IFC spaces inside, I just upload it. Otherwise, I will open it in BIM Collab, for example, and do a quick check. So I'll check, does the IFC file has a project? Yes. Is there only one building inside? Yes. Are there spaces? Yes. So external, interior, external, is external is not defined in this IFC. If it's not defined, we assume every space is internal. Do we have windows? Yes, we have windows. I just quickly go through to get an idea, because what we see is most of the times when something goes wrong, the spaces are missing. So that's mistake number one with all the uploads we are seeing.
Can you repeat that one more time?
Yes, missing IFC spaces. So models without IFC spaces. And without them, we can't do anything.
Well, architectural models, right? Because the other...
models. Yes. In the other ones, I don't care.
Yeah.
But and now, so I checked, I do the upload, and then I continue working with the model. So for example, I have here some BIM Collab lists predefined with and see how many square meters, volume, I have in the building. I click and I see how many offices I have. So these are just predefined views. Very, very quickly get the quantities. These are the external walls that I calculated, or abstract BIM calculated. These are the
Oh, that's
internal.
cool. That's cool. You did not model any walls, and you got some walls at the end anyway, right? So
Exactly.
that's very interesting.
And not only the walls are the interior surfaces, or well, here are the coverings. And
These
you
are on
see
the
here,
interior side, right?
this is at the interior side, and you see every one of these surfaces knows to which space it belongs. So
Uh-huh.
it's very easy to do some pivot tables or use this information in the quantity takeoff or in your cost calculation. So I think there are a few really useful things that we generate. So for example, we split every wall at the border of the space, so that every wall has a relationship to exactly two spaces. So we can say, okay, please show me only the spaces that are around a staircase. And then we can use this and say, okay, most of the time these spaces are made out of concrete. Let me go to another model where I can show this. So here I define some rule set in BIM Collab Zoom saying, okay, everything that has in this attribute spaces long names, Treppe, that's German for staircase, please assign this as a concrete wall. So it's called smart properties in BIM Collab Zoom. Yeah, let's open one. And you just define, okay, this attribute space is long name, includes meeting, it is not external, and then we classify it as dry wall or whatever. And now the nice thing is when you're quantity surveyor and you mostly do housing projects, you can define a few of these rules and really get a lot of more of information into the model without having to really think about it. So this is a very clever way of using automations.
Mm-hmm. But can if you go back to the dashboard where you got the report,
Yes,
your model,
yes.
did you also download the spreadsheet, the Excel spreadsheet?
I downloaded it. Let's open it.
Let's see how that looks.
Yes. So basically the same information we have in the BIM model, we have in the spreadsheet.
Okay.
So here we go. In the spreadsheet, we have every line is one of the elements we have in the IFC. So we are following the IFC standard. We have the elements. We work quite a lot with the predefined type whenever possible. We have for spaces, we have the number and the space name. And then we have all the quantities. Sorry. Here we have all the quantities. Again, like in the IFC schema, every element knows if it's external or internal. Walls or windows, we know the direction we are looking at. So in degrees, that's quite nice to have. And we have these relationship attributes at the end or in this table. So
Mhm.
this is the raw data, and yeah, we already provide some.
Oh, now we're talking. Now I start to understand something, Simon.
Okay.
Now this list makes sense to me, right? Because the previous one was showing me each element, but not many people are really interested in that. But a lot of people are
Yes.
interested in this.
Yes. And yeah, this is just different views on the raw data. So show me all the walls. Show me all the exterior walls. Show me all the interior walls. And this is just, yeah, some basic Excel formulas. And you don't have to think about these ones. So you just get automatically a few of these components and quantities. And yeah, when you have these ones, you can do quite a lot already for your cost calculation.
Mhm.
And if
Yeah.
you want to have more, you have to think about some more enrichment using this relationship logic and so on and so on.
Mhm. Yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
like a good place to start.
Mhm.
Guys, do you have any questions about this, about what you saw? Please shoot the questions now. We are really looking forward to hear from you. But Simon, okay, so let's talk a little bit more about abstract BIM
Mm. Sure.
until we get some replies. So what is abstract BIM and why did you create it?
So basically, it was my own need when I was a project manager because I was so annoyed, and I thought, yeah, whenever yet somebody sells BIM, it's 5D BIM. Yeah, you press the button and you get automatically the costs. That's this big marketing promise, and I know so few people who can fulfill it. And then I thought, okay, there must be a better way. Where is a need on the market? So yeah, I did develop the first prototype in 2016. And then for some time, nothing happened. In 2019, I convinced the quantity surveyor. So with a PowerPoint slide and the concept. And with this, we started, yeah, the development for sure, or for real. 2020, we did go on the market with it and created Abstract as a company. So yeah, and since then, we do it. And we create these abstracted, simplified models that are just useful for people who don't model for themselves.
Okay, that makes sense.
Mm.
Like I said, I don't do much regarding this early phase of the
Mm.
project and not with buildings now, but I remember in other roles and I know other people dealing with a lot of this kind of projects. And the biggest challenge is that you get uh, information that you cannot rely on,
Yes.
and then you got to spend quite a significant amount of time to either check manually, because you just like, this is what's happening actually. You have two ways, and most of people today are actually doing this calculation manually or using some tools, but based on old technologies. So not actually using the model, the IFC
Yeah.
model that they get, right? The other workaround is what you did right now with SketchUp, modifying the IFC model, or even better with Blender BIM,
Mm.
because it's actually very easy. You just need to learn what you should look for and just adjust the model, see what is not in place, and especially because we know what we need to check, right? There are spaces, there are doors, there are windows, see if they are internal, external, and so on, and you go from there, right? So
Mm.
actually,
Yeah.
this is a very good um, solution, because it's a nobody, I don't think there are many people willing to put in that exactly that job to fix models or to, yeah, it's a pain, it's
Yes.
really a pain, and it takes also a lot of time.
Mm.
So yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. So I know from quantity surveyors where, yeah, they're usually very structured people, and the moment we see some information that is wrong, let's say, a drywall in the exterior wall underground. So this is a real example where I say, okay, something is strange in this model. When we click on 3 other elements, something is wrong, and we say, okay, I can't trust this model. Give me my plans. I do it manually.
That's what happens more often than not.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. Let's see if you got any questions. And let's see. Most recent. Do you use topologic to get the relations between spaces to find common boundaries?
No, we don't use topologic, but we did the same. It's exactly the same logic in the background. So we are in exchange. We know of each other. I think what topology is doing is really great, but we have our own algorithms doing it.
Yeah, so Meno and Leonardo both says that this is really cool. You're right, Meno. I was amazed when I saw that actually a work that it could take you 3 to 5 days. It was possible to do it in 2 hours when you start, maybe the first time, and then even in 1 hour when you start getting to know what you should do, right? That's crazy. It's a lot of upside for to save a lot of time. So Simon, how much does this tool cost, and how somebody can test it out? Can somebody get the chance to try it
Yes, sure.
before they purchase it, and what can you tell us
So
about
we
that?
offer this free tire, and you can just register on abstractbim.com, and when you can upload a model. We have 200 spaces for free, but yeah, to be honest, we don't stop you. So if you upload a model with 1,000 spaces, you will get the result. We don't have any hard breaks in it, so it's important for us what you see, what you can get with it. And so our free offer is every year we renew these 200 free spaces, and you can continue working on it. So for smaller projects, no need of buying abstract BIM. The second tier what we offer is a 3-month trial period for $1,000 or euros, and you can try as much as you want. So no upper limit, nothing. And after this, if you want to continue, or not if, when you want to continue, we talk and we tailor offer for you. So maybe it's more interesting for one project. Maybe you do it really regularly, so you are interested in a flat rate or some open book. So we have different models, but we really tailor it to your company's needs.
That sounds good. Can you share the screen and show us the homepage of the website, so
Yeah, sure.
we make sure that everyone sees that exactly? So abstractbim.com.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
You just sign up for free and go.
sign up for free, exactly. And
okay.
you receive an email with a token, so the usual process.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, I can tell you it's not very difficult because I just tried it last week and I was very impressed. So it just worked. And I was very impressed to get these answers so quickly. And yeah, looks like a very interesting tool that some people who are in this situation where they deal a lot with this, they could use that time to do something else if they are interested too.
Yeah, I always like to say so, but you can focus on your real job, because checking BIM models is not your real job.
Yeah,
Usually.
that sounds very
Yes.
good, Simon. Guys, my BIMvoice friends who you are here, do you have any questions, guys? If you have any questions, either leave there in the comments or you can unmute yourself and try to ask the question live. But yeah, we can take few other questions. We did not get more than that, unfortunately. So come on, guys, challenge us a little bit. Come on. Don't just watch us. Don't just listen to us. Challenge us.
So, I mean, in the meantime, what I can say is,
Yeah.
I'm always very happy when somebody says, yeah, it's easy to use and just do it, or it just fulfills the purpose. So we always said, yeah, we don't want people spending time on the abstract web page. So upload, download, done, and then do your work. So abstract is not the important part. It's you can work with it. Forget about abstract, but
Mhm. Yeah, that's neat. Um, who should actually, who do you think, who are usually your clients? Who are like, can you give us what is your client profile? Who could use
yes,
the tool to understand better?
we have two different client profiles.
Okay.
So most of them either we are thermal simulation engineers, so AVAC calculating heat load and stuff like that. Either ICE users, um, GBXML, or somebody who needs GBXML for calculations. Profile 1, Profile 2 are quantity surveyors, so people who calculate costs. And yeah, we had one client, he used it for facility management, so to get really small, very neat models for FM. So because usually our models are 5 to 10 megabyte max. And so even if you upload a 300 megabyte architectural model, at the end you have maybe 10 megabyte abstract BIM IFC, just because we clean it up really nicely. So, or some software companies who try to build some stable processes. These are the typical clients.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm thinking like if you have a quantity surveyor, because sometimes you don't, and because I know some BIM coordinators actually doing this.
Mm.
So there could be also that in some situations, BIM coordinators or BIM managers end up doing this also.
Yeah, actually, this I just had a call today in the morning with a design build company, and they have a big department with BIM managers, and their usual workflow was they define the requirements, they get the BIM models, then they do a quantity takeoff from the model, give this Excel file to the calculation department, and they do the whole shebang with it.
Mhm.
And today we had this call, and it seems they really like it that we can, yeah, remove this step in between, or really, so get rid of the BIM department in between, or reduce the workload for them because they were the bottleneck, and yeah, focus more on calculating. And I think we got another question.
Yeah. Meno is asking if there are any rules for spaces in SketchUp, like naming or other information I should add.
So if we have the name in the attribute long name, and it is external, that would be nice, but we don't necessarily need it. So
What does that gives you more if you do that? If you have that information, what more do you get from the report?
let's say we have a balcony.
Okay.
That's an external space. And if we don't recognize this as an external space, we would put some walls around it.
Ah, okay.
But if it's external space, we know, okay, there are no walls around it. So this is this
So
IFC PZ space common is
is
external true.
external.
Yes.
Okay, so that property needs to be there. Okay.
Yes. But balcony. We have a rule in the background. If the long name is balcony, we assume it's an external space. So, and we have a view of these logics in the background.
Okay, that makes sense. If you have any other questions, guys, ask them.
Yeah,
Giancarlo is also asking, if you purge the IFC model, where does the info go? It deletes based on what?
Yeah, we basically look at the IFC entities, and we only extract IFC space, IFC window, IFC door, IFC curtain wall, we extract as well. And when we try to see what is the transparent part of the curtain wall, and we create a window out of it. Because this is important again for the simulations, for the thermal simulations. And all the other stuff we throw away.
I hope that helps, Giancarlo. Yeah, are there any other things that you think would be relevant to name or to mention? Because we don't have any other questions, or we just got one? No.
When I just say, I'm happy to see you on Abstract, and reach out to me if you have any questions.
You heard this, man, everyone, okay? Give it a try, see how it works. I was very pleasantly surprised myself. Even if I will not use it on my infrastructure project, but I just tested and see how it works. And it was very pleasant surprise to see that's possible to make much more effective your process. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you very much for asking questions, for participating. Thank you very much, Simon, for showing us. And we stay in touch, everyone.
Perfect. Bye.